you ever been making something and you want to make it again, and then you want to make it again, and you want them to all be the same size? I'm going to show you some tricks today to get consistent, repetitive sizing across beads, across sculptures. You can use this in a lot of places. So let's jump into it. I'm all set up here, and I am going to start with the most common way that you'll probably see shared in a lot of videos is to have a sheet of clay, a consistent thickness. I ran this one through my pasta machine. It doesn't matter which thickness, although it will affect the size of your end bead. So if you want to go gradually smaller or larger, you can adjust the thickness there, especially if you only have one size cutter. So this is how you would get 1, 2. When you take these and roll them into a ball, you will get 2 identical sizes for your balls of clay. So that is one way to make 2 matching balls of clay. This would be 2 matching earrings. This would be a string of beads that are just all the same size. And it doesn't matter what shape cutter you use. It could be any shape that you have around. You could use the heart and arrow, which is a little harder to get out of the mold. Might have to poke this one. But if I use 2 of these, I will still get the same size beads. And one thing that you can do is if you need variation on your beads, you can try different cutters. I have favorite cutters that make my most common earrings. The size that I choose to do, I have the cutter that I use, and I know the thickness on my pasta machine, and that is how I get repeated results. I know that I will put it through on what is a number 3 on my machine, and I will use one specific cutter every time, and I will always end up with matching beads, matching earrings. And when I make more in different colors, I will always have them the same size. This is one of the most common ways to do this exact thing. What I want to add to this is a few other methods, and we're also going to go into how to get graduated sizes. There's different ways to go about that. This roll of clay is the next method I want to show you for how to get consistently sized beads. This one does not involve a pasta machine. You just roll your clay to a consistent thickness. If you want to repeat this, measure, and I have a ruler somewhere, I'm sure. This one's not too pretty, but you want to use a ruler. I like clear ones. And let's see, this one is 1.5 centimeters wide. I'm going to trim off the wonky end right there. But we have a 1.5 centimeter log, and I'm going to mark it. Let's do 1 centimeter. I changed my mind. Let's mark it at every 1 centimeter. See what I did? Just put a quick indent in that log of clay, and now I'm going to come through and slice at those indents. Just go straight through. It's a little hard to do without getting my head in the way. Straight through, straight through, straight through. And what I have here, when I roll these pieces into balls, I tend to make oblong shapes lately. trying to go too fast. Slow down, Beth. When you start rolling these, you will get consistently sized beads. So there, we have 4 of the same size beads. If you want to use this technique to make beads that go gradually larger or smaller, you can vary the thickness of this log, but I'm not going to re-roll it right now. I'm going to leave it at 1.5 centimeters, and I'm just going to vary how much I cut from the log. So let's do one at 1.5 centimeters, and then let's do one, what do you say, 2 centimeters after that? And then maybe another 1, 2, is that a half? Let's see what kind of gradient we get when we roll these beads. So here are 4 beads that gradually change sides. Ooh, they're rolling around. Here's a gradual gradient. If you want a sharper gradient, you adjust how thick this log is, how long of a spacing you put between each of these pieces. But this is one method for repeated round, not even just round sizes. You can turn these into anything. Like if you have a sculpture where you want all of the legs of your animal to be the consistently sized, you can start with this, cut your increments, and then turn it into the leg on the body. And then you automatically have the start of your sculpture right there with consistent legs. Clear everything over. Let's come back to our gray sheet. And what I wanted to show you was how you can use these graduated cutters in a similar way that we used measuring different increments. We have small to large. So we've already got some of our smallest beads, and we just go up through these graduated cutters, and when we roll the beads that we get from this, we will have another set of graduated sizing. So I'm going to take a moment to do that and come right back to you. We are back, and here are the sizes that these graduated cutters create. See how you can create a nice gradation by using gradually larger to smaller, smaller to larger, however you want to say it. These cutters create these sizes and you'll be consistent. And if you want these to be smaller, you just use a thinner sheet and you can still use these same cutters and get smaller results. If you want it to be thicker, you could even double up this sheet. You can get much bigger sizes. So you can use these really effectively. If you decide you just want to use 2 of the small size, and then this is another thing you can do. You can use 1 single cutter, and if you want to go gradually larger, you use 1 of them, and then you'll stack up 2 of them, and then you want to go a little bigger, you'll have 3 of them. That's another way that you can get consistent sizes. And all along the way, if you want to repeat this, if you are trying to develop a design that you want to sell and you want to be able to remake consistently, these are good things to write down in a notebook. I always think I'm going to remember them and I forget. So I write them down and I will know that I will use my, I don't know exactly which one this is. I think this is the 1-inch cutter here. I'll use my 1-inch cutter. I'll use my sheet of clay on a number 3, and that gets me the head of the snowman or whatever I'm trying to make. I can have them repeated. It takes a lot of the stress out of getting orders made consistently. Consistency is really a big deal to me. I like being able to remake things and have it be the same as the first time I made it to the last time I make it. I like the consistency. I hope you appreciate these tips, and if you learned anything new, let me know in the comments. If I missed something, if there's something you know about getting consistent results in your work, let me know below. Click like, and as always, if you want to see more like this, then subscribe and hit the notification bell. And I hope you have a great day or night. I don't know when you're watching this. This is so hard to sign off. Bye.
I'm not Babe. I'm Helen.
You are Helen.